Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with the next update for my project Level Up. Currently I'm doing level 5 of this project and I rolled this palette in last month, and that is my Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay. I was really excited to roll this palette in because I think it's a great level 5 palette and it's one that I hadn't really reached for very much. And I wanted to get more use out of my collection. I think it's also a perfect kind of summer to autumn palette. So it was the perfect palette to roll in, to be honest, and I was really excited about it. And yeah, like I said, I rolled this one in last month and I'm gonna go through everything with my progress and where I was last month versus where I am now. But before I do so, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. But let's just jump into the video. So like I said, I'm working on my Beauty Bay Wilderness palette, and I'm gonna put up the picture where I was last month when I introduced the palette. Honestly, it was basically untouched. I think I reached for the shade Ray like once, maybe touched one or two of the other shades, but not very much. So almost an untouched palette. Again, I needed to get more use out of it, but this is where I am with my palette today. So you can see the overview right here. And I'm just gonna put this palette down because it's very big, and I'm gonna keep the comparison pictures up so you can look, and I'm gonna go through each shade. And quickly also, if you're new to this project, I have an introduction video with all of the rules, but basically Project Level Up is where you work on a palette that you randomize, or some people are picking it, which is absolutely fine. You can work this project however you want it. You pick a palette or you randomize a palette. And then on level 1 you have to reach for each shade once and hit 1 pan. Level 2 reach for every shade twice and 2 pans, and so on. So with my level 5 I have to reach for every single shade 5 times and hit 5 pans. So that's just kind of breezing over the project, but again I'm going to go through each shade in order. So the first shade in the palette is the shade Snow. You can see here that I was actually able to pan on this. This is like a lid setting shade, but I don't really set my lids, so it's more of a blending out shade for me. But I use those shades quite a bit to use blend out my crease if I take it too high and stuff like that, and also to like brighten this area in here. So I did use this one 15 times to hit pan on it, and since then I have reached for it 2 additional times for a total of 17 uses. So I'm completely done with this eyeshadow. I had to hit pan on it, and I did use it to 5 uses, so this one is done. Next to that is the shade Sky, which is this kind of blue color. Unfortunately, I did roll in a very similar shade to this from my Beauty Bay Book of Magic palette in my Pan Those Eyeshadows. So I only reached for this eyeshadows once. I need to kind of figure out how to use both of them, but 1 use of this so far, so I have 4 more uses to go. This is definitely not a shade that I'm going to hit pan on. It's definitely going to be a 5 uses on this one, so that is the shade Sky. Next to that we have the shade Ray, and again I'm hoping you can see in the pictures I was able to pan on this eyeshadow. I'm just going to show you again up here. You can definitely see the pan right there. This one I actually pan on after 4 uses only. Again, I know I have reached for it maybe once or twice before, but not that many uses. The reason why I think it went very quickly is because I used an inner corner highlighting brush to pick this up mainly, or like a small brush, because I mainly used it like in my inner corner and then kind of fade it up here because I love the look of this eyeshadow. It's one of my favorites in the palette. But I did use it an additional time after I hit that pan, so I did use it 5 times as well. So this eyeshadow is also completed, and it's the second pan in this palette. Moving forward, we have the shade Twilight, which is this deep blue shade. And this one I used once only. I think I used it in the same look as with other blue. I did like a blue look with most of the blues, actually all of the blues in this palette. So I did use this one once. Next to that we have the shade Ocean, which is the blue shimmer in the palette, and I did use this eyeshadow 3 times. It's funny because I used this one 3 times and I don't really have a dip in it at all compared to like, I mean a little tiny dip I guess compared to this one, which I had pat on after 4 uses. But this one is a bit more of a firmer pressed kind of formula, like it's not as scudgy as Ray is. But I also have used this with my fingers. I also used to tap over other eyeshadows, and also yeah, I think, you know, I don't use as much of this eyeshadow because I have been pairing it with other shimmers and it hasn't really been the main focus of my looks, but I do have 3 uses on it now. Moving on to the second row of the palette, we have the shade Forest, which is this kind of like a little bit more turquoise leaning green. Would you say like it's a sage green? I think so. I used this one once. It's actually the last shadow in the palette that I reached for. I have reached for all the shades now, but this is the last one I reached for. I reached for this on my lower lash line, actually my look that I did yesterday, and that was the last eyeshadow that I needed to reach for all of them, but I have used this one once. Next to that we have the shade Breeze, which is like I guess minty kind of shimmer. It is this one right here. This one I have used twice, and you can see again I have a little bit of a dip in that eyeshadow, but yeah, I'm not sure if I will be able to hit pan on it in 5 uses. Maybe I will. That's kind of what I want to do moving forward. I want to kind of use the remaining shades 5 times and see which ones I have dip in, and kind of decide what I want to hit pan on that way. But again, I do have 2 uses on this one so far. Next to that we have the shade Mint, which as the name would suggest is a mint color, and this one I used once in the past month. Again, not great. I have 4 more uses to go, but I did use it once. And then next to that we have the shade Moss, which is another shimmer. I did use this one once again, and it's a little bit of like an indent in there, but not really a dip I would say, but I do have 1 use on it. And then lastly on the second row we have Ivy, which I also used once, and that's just like a, you know, a deep green shade. Moving on to the next row, which is probably my favorite row in the palette apart from Ray, which is also a favorite. First on that row we have the shade Lime, which is a beautiful shimmer. I really love this one. This is probably going to be another one that I try to pan on, but I don't really have a massive dip. I feel like this is similar to the shade Ocean in the formula, a little bit more firm than some of the other shimmers, but I have reached for Lime 3 times so far. Next to that we have the shade Leaf, which is a beautiful green shade. It's like a more kind of warm tone green. You can see it right there. This one I have used once, so again not great, but I did use it. And then next to that we have the shade Eucalyptus, which is another one that I used once. This is like, I would say, like a true green, like an army green almost. Again, this will work really well with Leaf, but I just haven't done too many green looks, and when I have, I've been like alternating it with those shades right here, which is more the kind of, you know, blue leaning rather than yellow leaning greens, because these are a bit more yellow leaning. And speaking of yellows, we have the shade Marigold next to Eucalyptus, and Marigold I have reached for 3 times, and I would say this is like the one matte that I have a little bit of a dip in, actually together with Sunrise, which is the last shade. I will go to that later, but I do have a little bit of a dip in this eyeshadow, and again I have used it 3 times. I love this eyeshadow. I definitely think I'll be able to hit my goal on this the next month. Use 2 more uses, and you know, it's a fun, easy shade to reach for, so that is Marigold. Then next to Marigold we have another exciting eyeshadow, and that is the shade Fossil. Hopefully you can see there again that I did hit pan on this eyeshadow, and it took me 8 uses to hit pan. So again, I'm above that 5 uses threshold, and I did hit pan on it, so that's amazing. It's my 3rd pan in the palette. Moving forward to the last row, we have the shade Poppy, which is this like true red shade right here. I did use this on twice. Next to that we have the shade Raw, which is a deeper kind of, a bit more maroon red I guess, and I used this one twice as well. Next to that we have the red shimmer in the palette. This is definitely not my favorite shimmer, but I have found some ways to use this, and I did use it 3 times, which I'm really pleased with. And then for the last 2 eyeshadows, which is Earth and Sunrise, I have used this one 3 times each. So I have 2 more uses to go on those, and again I have a little bit of a dip in Sunrise, which is really exciting, but I think those more neutral, I guess it's an orange, so it's not like a neutral, but I think those tones are considered more neutral than others, and they are more easy to reach for, and I do reach for more of them when I reach for them. So that is where I am with my palette now. So as you can see, I do have 3 out of 5 pans already, and I'm really happy with that. You know, especially shimmer formulas in here are very easy to pan on. They're notorious for being very easy to pan on because they're very kind of, you know, malleable formulas, and also the pans in general aren't very deep, and that's also why I pan on Snow relatively quickly, although it is a bit more firmly pressed. So again, I have 3 pans in the palette, and those 3 eyeshadows that I have pan on are actually the only 3 that I hit my usage goal on so far. The remaining eyeshadows I do have some uses left to go on, so I'm going to continue using this palette and get my uses out of the remaining shades. And again, once I have hit my 5 uses on every shadow, I'm going to kind of consider or decide which ones I want to hit pan on. You know, even for example, if I hit, you know, 5 uses on Lime, which is one of my favorite shimmers that are left in the palette, if I hit 5 uses on that and I want to continue using it, of course I will, because I do still need to hit 2 more pans. But I think the 2 eyeshadows that I'm going to hit pan on are probably going to be 2 more of the shimmers. Right now, just looking at the palette, I think it's likely that it's going to be Lime and maybe Breeze. If I was going to focus on a matte, it would probably be Marigold, Earth or Sunrise, one of these three right here. But again, we just have to see where I end up after 5 uses on each. So that is where I am with my Level Up palette. I am really going to try to focus on hitting my goal on this for next month. That's actually going to be one of my panning goals for August. Starting from July, I did actually do like a panning goals over on Instagram, where I have like a few goals for the month of what products to focus on. Could be usage goals, could be finishing things, could be like completing different, you know, prompts in projects. And one of them is going to be to finish my Level 5 palette. So I'm really going to focus on the palette, and I really hope that I can hit my goal on that. I think I should be able to focus on this a little bit more, because I have hit, you know, on some of them I have hit 3 uses already, so I'm above halfway there. Some of them I have completed. I also have some, obviously that only has 1 use, so I have 4 more to go on those. So I think I'm not quite halfway there, but I do have 3 pans, I guess, so that's more than halfway on the pan side. So, you know, I just have to continue using this palette a bit, but I think I should be able to roll this out next month, and that is going to be my goal. But that is it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this update, and please go and check out everyone else who is participating. I have created a playlist with everyone else who decided to join in on this project, and that will be found linked down below. And otherwise, I really hope everyone is having a good day, and I'll talk to you in my next one. Bye guys.